there's a few things in life that you always want to go back and redo, and there's decisions in your life that might not have been stellar or anything like that. And I heard a commentary today that kind of made me think about my life in general, and yeah, it was about being egotistical and things like that, and it made me think like the basic saying of the commentary was, if you're egotistical, people will not like you. And this is true. A lot of people don't like people that are very egotistical, because one, resentment, or a major part of it is envy. Um, and it's not such as a bad thing. Like, if I see somebody saying they're better than me, my first instinct is to basically pound my chest and be like, "Oh, no," you know, and just like, well, I'm about to go set this guy in his place, because there's egotistical, there's confidence, there's cocky, there's a million different variables of this word, and it makes you think. It's like, yes, people would like me better if I was more humble, but the same part, am I being true to myself? When I say am I being true to myself, it's like, where am I just molding myself to be something because I want people to like me better? And I've always had trouble doing that. One of the reasons I'm one of the most wide-spoken and outspoken commentators is mainly because I've never liked biting my tongue, and I've never went back and on anything I've ever said. Well, that's obviously not true. I obviously went back on some things I've said before, but broad generalization, I try to stick to my word as closely as I can. Even if it inconveniences me. Like, I'm the kind of guy that would slap a guy in the back of the head, or hit somebody in the classroom when nobody wanted to man up. I'd man up and say, like, yeah, I threw it and hit that bitch motherfucker in the back of his head. That's just me, because actions into consequence. Obviously, if you take it to a greater scale, other than like an ISS or a detention or something like that, there'd be more room or more variation of not wanting to go out of my way and just basically lying. And I've always had a tough time with lying. The main reason I have a tough time with lying is I'm a horrible liar to begin with. You know, there in my world, there's a difference between lies and fibs. A lie is something that pretty much damages anything or credibility or has worth. A fib is something that you tell somebody that has no meaning or will have no effect on their life at all. Like, such as a fib would be saying that you had cheesecake for lunch when you actually had apple pie. Nobody gives a shit. A lie would be telling somebody that you're fluent in Dutch and get hired to be a Dutch translator and you can't do the job. But that's in those standards. And what there's all going on about is to kind of help you understand my personality and where I'm at right now as a commentator. A lot of people complained about the short games and why I no longer post 10-minute games. Am I just too lazy or whatnot? It's more along that lines. I don't have the time for 10-minute games anymore. Basically, I'm in a position where I have to put out a certain number of videos a month, and that number is usually over 100. And to basically upkeep the lifestyle I have, because I've took on so much, financial burden. I currently have 2 main sources of income and 2 hobbies. And of these, there's overhead. And overhead like a motherfucker. Not to mention the 2 children and a girlfriend I recently took on, which she doesn't work at all. And that's more because she had to drop her career to come live with me. And that's understandable. I was like, that's fine. I can support you. And that's part of the reason I shoot out so many videos a day, because I'm not supporting just myself. I'm supporting myself and overhead of 2 businesses. Believe it or not, doing these kind of things do cost money. My electric bill usually runs anywhere from $4 to $4.50 a month. That's because I have to run a big ass energy sucking computer and TV generally 24/7. Always buying new games, always buying Xbox points, always buying PSN points, things like that. Always trying out new stuff. And then you have the restaurant, which the overhead on that's probably almost 45 or 50% of everything that goes into it. Yeah, but I've always desired a backup plan because you never kind of know where this market's going to be. Right now, Call of Duty is the hottest thing on earth. Where will Call of Duty be in 10 years? I don't know. Will another game come to take its place? Maybe. If that's the case, that'll be perfectly fine. But if people just lose interest in this, something like MySpace, like I never seen MySpace just be phased out as quickly as it did. I seen that to be a juggernaut, and I was wrong. It's just like the .com era. But one of the main reasons for short videos is, one, my internet connection, not my computer itself. My internet connection is very, very shitty. And by very shitty, I mean like 0.12. It literally, like one of these 2 to 3 minute videos take me over an hour to upload. A video of this length right here is going to take me somewhere in the ballpark of 3 to 5 hours to upload. And of this 3 to 5 hours, if it fails, I could lose half a day of working. It's easier for me to do 2 to 3 minute short commentaries and just be done with it. That's why I cut them out so short. And it also kind of plays along the telltale sign that most people that watch YouTube videos want to watch them on 2 or 3 minutes and they're done. Because a lot of people like me, when I used to watch YouTube videos for fun, I would love to watch Let's Plays. I would love to watch Let's Plays of games I've never played before, such as I Have No Mouth, but I Want to Scream. That's an old PC game that I never got a chance to play. Like all the old FMB games, I never got a chance to play. Those are things that I wanted to see. And back in the day, YouTube was very unfriendly to big videos. They would have like 10 minute time. Actually, it was 11 minutes, 10 to 11 minutes. And then every time it would switch over to a part, it would go down to full screen. I always found this like, shucks, I got to get out of bed, because I used to like lay on my bed and just watch them. And I'd have to constantly get up every 10 minutes to go back to full screen. And that was annoying, but they're a little bit more friendly now to that, especially since video games took off. I mean, video games has almost beat Vivo in amount of views. I mean, I think the guy on Call of Duty thing said 113 million just views from Call of Duty alone. That's not counting the Let's Play community, or like the machinimas from Halo and things like that. It just blows your mind. And a lot of people are like, well, this is your job. Y'all talking about overhead. Won't you move somewhere else, dude? It takes a lot of money to move. And right now, my YouTube channel just pays for basically living. And all my play money comes from other ventures, and that's pretty much the case. You dig your hole, you gotta lie in it. I'm by no means ungrateful for what I do. I enjoy my job. I would rather do nothing else than play video games for a living. I've always wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to play video games for a living since first grade. I remember being in first grade, and this is like one of those strange, like super surrealistic feelings. That I wanted to, we had one of those old desks with like the cubby hole under it, and the desk like attached to it. It wasn't until like 4th or 5th grade that we actually got the desk where the seat was individual. And yeah, I always would sit there in class and fantasize about going in and playing regular Nintendo in the cubby hole, if that makes any sense. It's just something I enjoy thinking about, and I was like, I always had a dream of owning every NES game ever. It was like, I just fantasized about games, and that lasted me through most of school. And I kind of fell back to video games. I think somebody made a PKA comment about, notice how Wings always talks about video games in his past. That's because video games were my past. I didn't have lifeguard stories. I didn't have fighting stories. I tried to stay away from all of that. I went to school, came home, played video games. When it transitioned out of school, I went to work, came home, played video games. And I've always loved it. And I've always tried to be the best I possibly could be. And I created this instinct in me that basically hated to lose. And that's something I've always been dealing with, even when I was young. Probably 60% of my fights growing up were based somewhere around video games or something of that nature. I remember beating my buddy my cousin Jonathan Watson. I've been beating him so bad his parents wouldn't let him come back over again, and that was a barrel full of laughs. and we eventually made up and all. But you know, you get mad, you get upset, and you do things that you regret later on in life. But one of the key variations of being a man is never to admit that shit. but But that's the reason for the short videos. One, it's easier on me to do like a 4-minute video, and a lot plays into. I notice that the shorter the videos I put out, the more views they get. Like if I put a 10 or 11-minute commentary out, they generally gets looked over. Well, unless it's a philosophical commentary, like I'm Only Human, or like May 21st, 2011. Stuff like that people seem to flock to over and over again, and just listen to it in 2 or 3 parts. If it's long enough and it's there to hold your attention, people will listen to it more than twice or come back for repeat views. But as you can see right here, I'm pushing the 11-minute mark. I'm not even stopping talking at this point. And one of the main reasons that I don't do this normally is because a lot of times I don't have a topic offhand. When I get time to do a video, it's usually like, okay, I have from this time to this time to get a gameplay and put it up. And by the time I get a gameplay, I got like 15 minutes to get it rendered and commentated so I can get it uploading before I gotta go do something else, because life is hectic. But I'm going to put this down right here. I'm going to have to put another gameplay on it or two. It's been your boy Wings of Redemption. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, and say Mary somewhere in your comment if you made it all the way to the motherfucking end.